Thank you very much, Paolo with the Financial Times. A question for President Lagarde. How does the ECB view the idea of a reparations loan using the cash balances? Would you be open to that?
Thank you very much for your question. First of all, it's a matter for which there was no particular document tabled, so I would refrain from making any decisive statement in that respect. But our concerns has been expressed in the past, remains the same, and we are obviously attentive to the compliance with international law and with the concern that is ours about financial stability and the sovereignty and the sovereignty of our currency. Thank you.
One over here.
Thank you so much. It's Balázs Korányi from Reuters. Question about the digital euro. You spoke about a compromise, but you didn't really give us too much detail on what the compromise is. So I would love all of you to kind of unpack what this compromise is. And at least the two of you spoke about threshold limits, holding limits, but you didn't really go into the details. So I'd love to know what you decided on those limits.
So really what we discussed today was the procedure for limits rather than the limits themselves. And I should say that any detail in relation to all of this will now be considered by the Danish presidency, where they will then produce texts that will lay out the detail of how this will all work. But on the particular matter of holding limits, our focus is on the procedure for determining the holding limits rather than the limits themselves. And in the discussion that we had here today, an important element of the compromise that we reached is that before the ECB make a final decision in relation to issuance, that before that decision takes place, there would be an opportunity for a discussion at Council of Ministers in relation to that date, in relation to how the project will move forward. And in that particular discussion, I remain confident that the ECB will listen to the views of ministers and consider it, as they have done throughout this entire procedure. We have, as a group of ministers, full respect for the mandate and independence of the Commission and of the ECB, but they have also shown themselves very attentive to the fact that this is an important decision that ministers need to be able to make the case for and explain. And an important additional step that we introduced today is a preliminary discussion on it as the entire process moves forward. So that's the key point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jorge Valera with Bloomberg. Two follow-up questions, one on the assets and on the digital euro. On the assets, for President Lagarde, even if your concerns, I know you remain attentive. You also said that you haven't seen any paper. I don't know if that was an indication that you would have liked to see more details and papers beforehand, before the proposal, given how sensitive is this issue for the role of the euro for the ECB. And I don't know if you changed any details or concerns with the Commission beforehand to raise these concerns when it comes to the assets proposal. And secondly, on the digital euro and the holding limit for any of you, for all of you rather, very quickly, if you believe, any of you believe that the threshold, the holding limit should be below 3,000 euros. Thank you.
All right. And on your first question, let me just first of all state that there is always good communication between the Commission and the European Central Bank. On a matter that is as sensitive and can be as complicated as this one, because it involves various parties, guarantees, as was indicated by Commissioner Dombrovskis, I want to see something in writing, but I'm not the only one. I think all member states involved in the process will want to see something in writing, because that's the only way to appreciate the trigger, the liabilities, the exposure, and to make sure that the key principles which are dear to both the Commission and the ECB, in other words, compliance with the international law and respect of the sovereignty, are actually respected. So, yeah, we look forward to, all of us, not just the ECB, yeah? We all look forward to seeing something in writing. And on your second question concerning the threshold, I would refer you to the response that was very ably provided by the President, which is that we did not discuss a limit. We discussed a mechanism which involves a ceiling and a threshold, but we did not discuss the actual threshold, and it's premature to do so at the moment. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
if I may,
Sorry, pardon me.
if I may add a couple of words on this reparations loan. Well, obviously, after having made this announcement, the Commission is currently working on all the technical aspects of this proposal. We also need to determine the volume of this reparation loan based on the IMF's assessment on the Ukraine's financing need over the next 2 years. So clearly that will require more work, and the Commission is right now working on this, and obviously will present it to the Member States and all interested parties. And indeed, so what is novelty in this proposal that we are not proposing seizure or confiscation of Russian sovereign assets. We are proposing that Russia's claim on those assets remain in place, but we are using cash balances which have accumulated due to the fact that those Russian assets are immobilized, and as they mature, to provide this reparations loan to Ukraine. So that, in a sense, allow us not to deal with the sovereign immunity issues which had been plugging those discussions beforehand. And here I would also highlight just a few weeks ago we had in very same building the EU Foreign Affairs Ministers informal meeting, so-called Gimnich meeting, where we were also discussing those issues, and it was clear that there is no unanimity among EU member states concerning, for example, confiscation. So our proposal falls short of that.
And just to emphasise the point on the holding limits, again, today is about procedure. Because of the different views and the really important policy matters that we need to be settled regarding the level of holding limit, it's vital that we have precision regarding what will be the procedures in relation to us. And we now have a common understanding with regard to that, and that will enable at a far later point a decision on the holding limit themselves and what the threshold will be.
Can I just...
Thank you very much to our speakers.
Excuse me, do you mind if I compliment, because I think it's important. As Commissioner Dombrovskis said, it is no seizure, no confiscation, from what we understand, but it's substitution of the claim on cash to a claim on Eurobonds. Is that correct?
As I said, obviously, we are now working on all of those specific elements, but it's so the basic concept is that indeed we are not touching Russia's claim. We are using accumulated cash balances, issuing a loan to Ukraine, and Ukraine will only have to pay this loan once Russia pays reparations, and this is something which is agreed by both European Council and G7 already before, which allows them to reinstate those cash balances for paying those loans and following the Russian claims on those assets. Obviously, it implies that Russia first has to pay reparations, as is already decided.
Thank you. I think we have to end it here. Thank you very much for participating, and to our speakers.
Thank you.
The formal Ecofin is going on, so
Thank you.
Thank you very much.